It's fascinating. You know, I made my way through the 17 days in the forest with no idea that I would actually be rescued, but just hoping that I would somehow make it out of that situation alive. But nothing has been the same since. Something like that, it's like it changes your whole life. Five years ago to the day, I was lost in the Makawao forest, and it's about a 2,000-acre forest preserve in Maui. Through the ordeal, I had experienced, you know, on the physical level, I had experienced dehydration. I had lost over 20 pounds in 17 days. I had broken my left tibia from a fall 20 feet onto the straight left leg. That happened on day 4. They thought they might have to amputate my feet after I came out. And then I was scathed like head to toe. There was not an inch of me that was not scratched. The day that I was rescued, it was at the end of the day. I figured the helicopters were done searching. And I was hobbling around because I had a broken leg. So I was hobbling around the woods looking for any kind of plant to eat because I had eaten, there were only a couple guavas in that particular location, and I didn't recognize anything else that was edible. So I was trying out new plants, and I had a plant in my mouth hanging out, and I looked up and the helicopter's right on top of me. And it was just so bizarre because the whole time I was out there, I was listening for them constantly. It was my full-time job, and the helicopter is, the pilot's waving at me. I was crying like my chest was releasing something, but there were no tears coming out. It was just an intense breathing thing happening. They handed me the phone, and my dad was on the other end of the line, and I couldn't even understand him because he was crying so hard.
I know, when you call me, I'm like, if you're messing with me, I'm gonna... That would be the worst joke in the world.
That'd been a really bad joke.
They started telling me about what was happening in the outside world, and I was just baffled.
I pledge our commitment that the Maui Police Department will exhaust all resources available to us as we look for Amanda.
I was like, okay, there's probably 5 of my good friends searching for me. I'm sure my mom's on island. So I was very surprised when I found out that there were over 1,000 volunteers that had helped search for me.
This was a volunteer effort, and we found her because of the Maui community.
It was about 4 days after I came out of the forest. You know, I'm in a wheelchair because my leg's broken. The leg wounds are pretty bad, and I was much worse off than I thought. On other levels, mentally and emotionally and spiritually even, I was feeling really good. And I agreed to do the press conference 4 days after I came out of the forest. What happened as a result of me being very honest.
You can sit here and dig your nose into social media all day and look at all these I don't even want to know what's on the internet as far as like stories and whatever. And so I'm just choosing not to go there.
The local community, they started, there was all of this speculation and rumor that was spreading around about me being on drugs, around how the whole thing was a conspiracy effort. And, you know, we did this on purpose to gain money from the GoFundMe. But what happened from that, unfortunately, is eventually it started to take a toll on me. It is fascinating to me that I think it took me longer to heal from that than it did to heal from what happened when I was out there. And about 6 months to the day, I did leave Maui. I moved off of island, sold all my stuff. And then when I moved back to Maui, you know, it was December 2020. And within a month, I think, I went to the forest for the first time. And I knew that was the only way I was going to get over this or work my way through it, was by putting myself back in that situation. So I went with a friend, and it wasn't as bad as I thought. I mean, to be honest, it was surprising that I had built up the forest as a super fearful place that was like dark and scary. But when I went there, I didn't pick up on fear. I was like, okay, this is the same forest, you know, that I came out of, the same forest I spent 17 days in. And then through the 3.5 years that I was in Maui, I'd go up there as much as possible. And I was going up there and riding, going on hikes. The difference is that I would take my phone And yeah, and I would have stuff with me. You know, I'd stay on the main trail. I knew which ones were not the main trail. I would bring water and these things. I mean, in my opinion, it changes your whole life. You know, there's no like going back to normal after that. So 5 years to the day later, I'm now living actually in Minneapolis, and my life is a lot brighter than it used to be. You know, it seems to be steadily improving day by day.